Hey everyone, this is NYC Geek Society. Jon here with Axel, and we're here to talk about the Bethesda conference that just happened. It's kind of late, so we're a little bit disheveled and groggy. As you can
tell
see,
by our eyes.
We are at a different location because my place has been taken over by people that need to watch the Tonys. But we are nerds, and so
we never give up.
We're at Axel's place right now.
So we just watched the Bethesda conference, so you might know them from games such as Wolfenstein, Doom, of course Fallout, and the Elder Scrolls. So they started out with a 20-minute presentation of Rage 2.
They started off with kind of their family montage.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that they do that every year, which is kind of nice. You know, you get to kind of see the people who work there. But yeah, then Pete Hines came on, and then they just talked
Mr. Ketchup
for 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes about Rage 2. Mm-hmm. They had
they had an Andrew WK performance. I don't know if anyone on the channel is a fan of Andrew WK. You know, he parties hard. That's all I really know about him. But I guess the performance would have been pretty cool for a lot of people. I mean, he really
cool.
brought some energy.
It just felt strange to devote that much time to Rage 2.
Uh-huh.
I mean, what do you think about that? I mean,
I feel like they were just filling up time.
But why? Why do that?
Because the last two games that they presented, it was 2 minutes, but we'll get to it.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. It also just, Rage 2, it's being developed by Avalanche, which kind of makes sense, too, because they actually made the Mad Max game, you know? Mm-hmm. So it's kind of interesting that this kind of has, a Mad Max tone to it. But it's kind of like Mad Max meets Borderlands, and I think Borderlands 3 isn't that coming out next year too? I think. So it's is it just too similar? I think to Borderlands 3 from what we're seeing.
Maybe
maybe different enough. It does feel kind of I don't
know if Borderlands has that has as much of a Mad Max vibe as this game does.
I think that that's kind of their thing.
I mean, they're similar, but I don't know. I feel like Rage 2 is very close to Mad Max, that kind of lore. You have a bunch of punk rock kids, and they're the dangerous ones of this world. It's wild and frantic and crazy. You have special abilities that you can use. So I don't know, just a lot of wild shit going on in that game.
Yeah, it's kind of frantic, but it looked cool. It's just I don't know really who's the audience for it. You know?
Yeah,
it feels like that there's other games that satisfy that kind of thing, like Borderlands, but.
I don't know. They just seem pretty adamant about keeping their old franchises alive.
Yeah, but is it really a franchise if there was only one game before it that nobody really cared about?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody really cared about Rage.
Didn't they say, at the end of the press conference, and I'm going to just spoil it because... I don't know. You probably would have seen the news already, but they announced a new IP at the end, and they said it's their first new game after 20 years. And I was like, Rage didn't come out 20 years ago, so
was Rage not originally a Bethesda game? Maybe. Oh, because I think Rage was an id Studios game. It was by id, and then Bethesda later acquired id. That's probably what that was.
All right, so
I think that's how that worked. Again, if we're wrong, please correct us. But I think that's what that was. Mm-hmm. But let's see. So then after that, they talked about Elder Scrolls Legends card game. on Switch, Xbox, and PS4. And they went into Elder Scrolls Online. We're going to have like a little guest of Axel's cat here, Gibbs. About to like knock over the world. You want to take him down? Okay. He went away. You'll have to see him another time. Then they said Elder Scrolls Online was named MMO of the Year, but
by who?
I don't know. I don't think that ever beat out World of Warcraft or anything. Mm-hmm. I don't know what that's about. They announced some story DLC for that. Let's just speed through it. But Doom Eternal looks like that hell's coming to Earth instead of Mars this time.
It's the sequel to the 2016 reboot.
They said that they're going to show more at QuakeCon.
Yeah, they said there's going to be like twice as many demons.
Right.
It's what everyone wanted.
It's cool, but...
Yeah.
Then they showed Quake Champions, their new Quake game.
With John Boyle.
Then they talked about Prey, which he said that there's going to be a free update tonight with a new game plus, a survival mode, and then they discussed Moon Crash DLC. There was kind of some poor attempts of humor, which was kind of weird.
Yeah, again, they just seemed like they were kind of buying time.
Yeah. And then they announced another DLC that's to come called Typhon Hunter. What was cool, though, with the Wolfenstein game, it's called Young Bloods, and it's about B.J. Blazkowicz's twin daughters, and it's going to take place in the 1980s, an alternate 1980s. It's going to be a cooperative game, and that's supposed to come out in 2019.
But not on Switch. They said, there's going to be a Wolfenstein game on Switch. I don't think that was it, though.
Well, Wolfenstein 2 is on Switch.
Well, okay.
So, I don't know, maybe that means that eventually it could make it to Switch. I'm not sure, but...
Oh, and they also announced some VR games. The Prey competitive mode that John mentioned is also going to be on VR, as well as a Wolfenstein game. I just love saying it that way. And then they finally got into the meat of the presentation with Fallout 76. And we've gotten a slew of information already about this game. We know that it's going to be a prequel to the Fallout games, and we didn't know too much else about it. It takes place in West Virginia?
Yeah,
and
takes place in 2076. Apparently, Axel and I don't know much about the Fallout lore, but from what I've been hearing, that Vault 76 has been like a lot of it talked about a lot in the games before, and it's like a big part of the history of that universe. And so now that people are excited that there's finally going to be a game about it, where it's apparently like the first vault that opened. And so basically I think I've heard this takes place like 2 or 300 years before the other Fallout games. So I guess if you're a Fallout fan, you're probably excited about it.
But the big reveal about the game is that for the first time, you can actually play online with your friends.
But you could also be single player as well.
You could also be single player. But they said it's the easiest way to play is with your friends. And I don't think everyone in the game is actually going to be your friend, though. You might end up running into people that aren't so nice, too.
Yeah, they showed some funny Vault Tech videos, and it was interesting. I like that they also said that you're just going to be playing with dozens of people on servers. It's not going to be like hundreds of people, Yeah,
because the apocalypse,
Right.
Everyone is dead, so...
They said that there's going to be a map that glows in the dark. That's a collectible if you want it. They had a helmet collectible. And they said it's coming out this November 14th.
And that's for the special edition of the game.
It's November 14th, 2018. They also said Fallout Shelter. It's a 3-year anniversary, and it's coming to the PS4 and the Switch, and it's still free to play, and that comes out tonight. And then, yeah, you want to talk about the Elder Scrolls Blades iPhone game?
I mean, even as a mobile developer, I usually roll my eyes at most mobile games because they're usually just like these games filled with like loot boxes and like, you know, it might be free to play, but there's always like a gotcha with the game because no one likes to pay for mobile games. Everyone expects everything to be free.
Yeah.
But there's a price to pay, whether it's advertisements or whatever. But this game looks almost like a console game.
Yeah.
And they said it's not only going to come to like iOS. I don't think they mentioned Android. They showed it on an iPhone 10.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So I'm not sure if it's coming to Android, but they said it's gonna be on Android. It's gonna be on iOS, and I think it's gonna be on
PC.
I think they said Switch too.
They said consoles.
Yeah.
And
actually, yeah, you're right.
And they said VR. So they said technically, like, you could be playing it on your iPhone against someone with someone that is playing it on VR. You know,
which is
pretty cool.
Freaking insane.
Yeah,
like
that's impressive.
Someone on an HTC Vive could be playing the same game you're playing on your phone.
That's
and
impressive.
They also revealed that you could play it in portrait mode, which is kind of unheard of for a game like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Like a 3D open world game played in portrait mode. But that's exactly what I want from a game like that. At least to push the ball forward. You know? Like,
I wonder how like movement kind of works when you're playing in portrait mode, you know.
Maybe you're using the gyroscope, like you're like, whoop.
But that's pretty interesting.
So you can get into the beta by going to playblades.com and signing up for that. And
there's going to be an early access, and it's coming out this fall, and it's free to play. And yeah, so then they, ended the conference talking about the future of Bethesda, which is really interesting. What is interesting is he said that they were making a next-gen single-player game, and I'm assuming that would mean, like, the next batch of consoles, which is interesting. So not PS4 and Xbox One. But I don't know. I don't know if that's what he meant. But that's what I think next generation would mean.
I'm excited for...
And he said that's where he said it's the first... This is Todd Howard we're talking about, by the way. It's the first wholly original franchise from Bethesda in 25 years. It's called Starfield, and it looks like it'll be taking place in space. So that's kind of cool because they have like a post-apocalyptic franchise,
Space Skyrim,
and a fantasy franchise, and now they'll have Space Skyrim maybe. And speaking of which,
they didn't show much during the trailer. Just
announcement kind of.
They had like a satellite in the sky, and that was pretty much the trailer.
And then they announced
the Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
And Jon was like, it's Skyrim too.
Well, there were rumors, like people were wondering if that's what they were going to just call it, because Skyrim is a lot more recognized by the mass audience than Elder Scrolls. But from what we saw, it said The Elder Scrolls 6. So
they're not giving up on that name.
So it's exciting.
Again, it was just like a title screen and like an overview of like, I don't know, a fantasy world, but that was pretty much it for the conference.
Yeah. Overall, I think we kind of agree. This is kind of the most boring one.
I usually hate on EA, but I kind of enjoyed their conference a little bit more.
It's just they kind of gave us here exactly what we expected, but it was long. Like I feel like it could have been like a half hour shorter. It could have been
way shorter. Especially they should have cut on Prey and Rage.
We need to talk about the comedy sketch with Key from Key.
Oh yeah, Key. What's his first name?
I don't remember. I didn't really watch the show.
It was so funny. So Key from Key and Peele did a little sketch, and he announced Skyrim for Alexa.
Yeah, and then you saw it like.
And actually, I was kind of excited about
How would that even work, dude?
I know, but it's just funny because usually when we're in the office, sometimes we play with the Alexa and play Jeopardy or The Price is Right or something.
But then they showed like, yeah, it's also on your refrigerator and also on your beeper. You know, like, so it's kind of cool that they're in on the joke that like Skyrim is just released for everything. You know,
yeah, it's just whoring itself out to any system that wants it.
But you know, I think that if you're a big fan of those games, like Axel and I aren't really as into them. The games that they were talking about at Bethesda, maybe you'd be really excited, but I think it went on kind of too long.
Yeah, it did. It did.
Yeah.
You could tell by our eyes, like we're just
trying to say it.
like I'm awake.
All right. So, anything else you want to talk about?
I'm excited for Elder Scrolls on the Alexa. I can't wait for that.
Okay. So yeah, again, you can watch our reactions to the Microsoft conference that happened earlier today. That video is up, and you can check out what our reactions to the EA conference yesterday. Even though, again, I kind of apologize for using YouTube Live for the first time, and it kind of just cut out whole like parts of our conversation. But you know, most of it's still there, so I still recommend checking it out. Yeah. And we're going to be, you know, having reaction videos to stuff throughout the week, except for tomorrow, Monday, because we didn't take off work.
Got work.
But we'll be back by tomorrow night to talk about the Sony conference, and then at some point later on, we'll catch up and give you guys reactions to the Ubisoft and Square conferences that we're going to miss.
Indeed.
But we'll be, you know, having reactions to stuff Tuesday through Thursday where we took off work. And, you know, there's going to be some really interesting panels happening with Hideo Kojima and Naughty Dog and, you know, Jonathan Nolan from, you know, creator of Westworld. And, you know, it's going to be an interesting
video games
great week.
Influence the TV shows you watch.
Yeah.
Should be really good.
So stay tuned. Like, share, subscribe.
Hit the bell. Bing.
And NYC Geek Out.
Geek out.